Hey everyone, Eric with a K here, looking wonderful. So today is the Q&A part of my video. Well, it's actually the only part of this video. We're just doing Q&As today. These are the questions that I got, and I hope that I answer them. If you have any questions in the future, feel free to leave them. If you message me directly, I always respond to you right away, so you don't have to wait for a video like this. I just wanted to have a video like this so that if anybody has questions, it'll be helpful. So the first question was there pain? And so to answer that question, no, there wasn't actual pain ever. I never experienced any pain. I also didn't take any pain meds except for Tylenol and Motrin, and I was able to manage the pain with that. Prior to getting it done, I remember being on the phone with one of the nurses, and I was like, am I staying over? And she's like, yeah, we got a bed for you. We're gonna have a little sleepover, blah, blah, blah. And my anxiety was through the roof. I'm like, I wanna get home. I hate not sleeping in my own bed. I hate not being home. Like, me and my husband are total homebodies. So then the day of the surgery, I remember my plastic surgeon came in to marker me up to see where everything was gonna be. And then the breast surgeon came in, and she was the specialty breast surgeon who I love to death. She came in and she was like, are you you're staying over, blah, blah. And I was like, I don't want to stay over. Like, I remember being like, I don't want to stay over. Is it possible? Because she was like, they have a room for you. I was like, is it possible that I could just go home after this? And she's like, yeah, you can go home after this. And I didn't know that she was actually going to go speak to the nurses and be like, don't give her a room. She's going home after this. But that is what they did. So I woke up from surgery and I was really tired. So I slept a little bit. Then they rolled me into like the next stage of recovery. And they were like, oh, you're a tough cookie. Like, you're going home today. And I was like, oh, yes, I'm going home today. Like, yes. So I never really experienced pain from the mastectomy. The only thing that I experienced discomfort from was the actual drains. And I'll show you guys my drain holes. Actually, I don't think I've ever shown. That's one drain hole, and then this is the other drain hole. So the drains basically go in over here, and then they come up. They're inside your skin. So they go in here, and they come up, and they're like, and like, they're all over here, and they're just like sucking up any fluid that would come out. I got my drains removed in 6 days. And they had known I was gonna get them removed early, because when I was talking to the plastic surgeon, he was like, oh, on Monday, we're gonna remove it. And that I got the surgery done on Thursday. So we're gonna remove it like 4 days later. And then the woman called me from the plastic surgeon, was like, we're gonna push this out to Tuesday. And then they're like, we're actually gonna push it out until Wednesday, because I think she had to be in the OR. So actually wound up being 6 days after I got my drains removed. They were incredibly uncomfortable, but no physical pain. I was able to manage the pain with just Tylenol and Motrin around the clock. And then as the days progressed, I was taking it, instead of every 4 hours each one, I was taking them like every 6 hours. And I was just like, fine. I was totally fine. So that was the question for pain. No, I never had any pain. I just had uncomfortableness. The other question was, is there any numbness on my chest? So yes, I didn't realize that there was numbness on my chest, because I wouldn't even go near that area when I first came out of surgery. But I remember the nurse that helped us when we first came out of surgery, she was a breast cancer survivor. And she had said to me, start touching it like this so you can get feeling back in your chest. Not right away, but once you have clearance to start doing it, like, you know, touch it, which wound up helping, because I had a lot of burning over here. Like, I had said this in a video, I couldn't put like a sweatshirt on or a hoodie, it would burn. It felt like I was like burning. And then my husband started massaging it, and we got feeling back. It was nerve damage. It was numb here, but I didn't realize it because I hadn't touched it yet. I didn't realize that it was numb until literally like recently. You feel like it's numb when I touch it now, not here, but like here where like my actual breast used to be. I could definitely feel it, and it's been like 7 weeks since I've had the surgery, and I could still feel like numbness. It never felt like pins and needles. It just didn't feel like anything. It didn't feel like anything. Like I had said, my mastectomy pillow, I was like, oh, it felt like a cloud on me, because it felt like nothing. And I'm sure that was the medication from the hospital and the fact that it's just tissue removal. I didn't have anything else done. It was just literally removing my breast. So yeah, there is definitely numbness, but not the kind of numbness where it's like, oh, my leg is asleep and it's pins and needles. It's more like, I don't feel a freaking thing. And then now when I touch it, I'm like, yeah, I could feel, it's still not pins and needles, but I could feel numb. It's definitely numb. But no pain or anything like that. Okay, so I'm jumping in because I was editing this video and I realized that part of the question, it was, does the numbness still affect you? And I never answered that. So I did want to say this. I was talking to somebody else who had a prophylactic double mastectomy, same as me. We talked on Instagram. We linked up through somebody mutual that we knew. And she was like, the healing process is really bizarre. You feel like you have cold nipples still. And I was like, thank you for saying that, because I thought I was losing my mind. So when you're cold, you still feel like you have cold nipples. You feel like, oh, you don't even have nipples. You still get the sensation. When you're aroused, when you're in the mood, you still feel like you have nipples. You have sensation there. So even though, yes, it's still numb, I still have feeling there. I still have sensation there. I don't know if it's because it's still the skin from before, and there's no, like, I just want to show you, like, there's no, that's just a tan line from my bathing suit. There's nothing. It's still, like, this is still, I just had tissue there underneath this before, and I don't now. So it still feels like I get, like, it's still a sensitive area on my body. So down here where the actual scars are, I talked about how my scars are pretty low because my breast did sit that low. You can see my scar strips. Down here I don't have any feeling. Here and up I do. I still have, like, sensation, and yes, it is numb to the touch, but you still have a sensation. It's really wild. It's hard to explain, and I'm so thankful. I'm gonna put her Instagram up, because go follow her. She documented her whole journey, and, like, if she didn't validate me, because I feel like nobody talks about the feeling of cold nipples, and I didn't ask her about the sensation part because I thought that might be weird, but, like, just her validating the cold nipples validated my whole experience with this. So yeah, it really didn't affect me at all. I just want to make that clear. There was, like, no affecting of me from this. I still have, like, complete sensation. The next question is, how long did it take until I felt like I could move around? So I felt amazing. As I had said, waking up from the hospital, I was like, I want to go home. I remember my husband had to go get the car, and they kind of left me because the nurses, it was like their break time. So I was kind of left alone in the room, and I was, like, sitting there, like, on the bed, and, like, I know nurses are in service industry, but, like, I hate being mean to service industry people. I hate asking for too much. Like, I hate existing around them, basically, because I never want to bother them. And I felt like that with the nurses, and I had the remote in my hand where you can, like, call them, and I was sitting there for, like, way too long. And my husband had my phone because he had brought everything out to the car. It was just me that they had to, like, discharge from the hospital. And I remember sitting there being like, I have to get out of this room. And, like, I knew I could physically do it, but, like, I knew they were like, wait, don't do it yet. And I finally pressed the call button, and a nurse came in, and they were so helpful. And they were like, we don't have anybody to relieve you right now, but we're going to do it ourselves. And, like, basically got me a wheelchair and brought me down. I didn't need a wheelchair. I could have walked. My husband would also have me wake him up in the middle of the night to take my pain pills because he didn't want me walking around the room by myself, which I so appreciate. But I was really capable of doing everything by myself. However, don't just stay in bed. I know, like, I talk about this kind of often, but I have ADHD, so it's hard. If somebody tells me to stay in bed, it's very hard for me to do that. So I was like, I gotta get up, I gotta walk around the room, and I would just do that throughout the day. I would just get up, walk around the room. Only thing that I remember that was like, I really shouldn't do that is we have dog gates, and for the dog gates, you press it down and you pull up. And I would feel that in my armpit. And I was like, I probably shouldn't do that. I think I was doing too much too soon, because I felt so good. I felt like I could do anything. I mean, within the first week, as soon as I got my drains removed, I was, like, zipping around the house. Like, I was, like, packaging orders and, like, doing stuff. And then I got fluid buildup. And I don't know if that's because I was doing too much too soon, or if it was just inevitable for me, if my drains came out too soon. But I'm gonna say I was probably doing too much too soon and not realizing it, because you feel so good after surgery. So you will mentally and physically feel like you can do anything after surgery. Day one, you'll be able to do it. You'll feel like you'll be able to do it. And you may physically be able to do it as well. Don't. Just wait. Wait at least 2 weeks. They say, like, 2 to 4 weeks. 4 weeks sounds like a really long time. By the time 4 weeks came for me, I think I was, like, beyond fine. I was, like, getting clearance to work out already. And I had the fluid buildup, which kind of set me back. I felt like I can do anything right away, but I would just say don't until, like, 2-3 weeks, until you get the clearance from your doctor, really. You really don't want to have to get the fluid drained. I think it messed with me mentally more than anything. It just felt like I was being set back. And I know when I got my septum fixed, the doctor was like, how old are you? And I was like, oh, I'm 36. And he was like, you're healing like a 10-year-old. So, like, I knew going into this mastectomy that I heal fast. And I think that may have been one of the worst parts. I wish I didn't know that, because I was like, I'm ready to go. Like, I'm fine. But yeah, I think it does more harm than good. So just stay in the bed for as long as possible. and don't do anything, even if you know you can. You feel you can. You don't know what's going on internally, and you don't want fluid buildup. You don't want to hurt yourself. You don't want to yank on your drains when you have your drains in. I know when I had my drains in, I was like very slow moving. It was hard for me to sit down like this for long periods of time. It was hard for me to lay for long periods of time. It was hard for me to stand for long periods of time because the drains just put so much discomfort on my body. Again, not pain, just discomfort. Laying down was probably the best thing that I could do, and so I probably should have laid down more, but I was like going outside with the dogs and just doing stuff that I, in hindsight, probably shouldn't have done. I don't know if it's my ADHD or just natural, but when you're healing, you feel like this is going to be forever. This is like my new life now. I'm not going to be able to do anything anymore. And so sometimes I felt like I would push myself to do things that I know were silly of me to do. Like I didn't have to be outside when my husband was walking the dogs. I could have just been laying down and getting rest and healing. But I would be like, oh, I miss them. I want to go see them. It's just not necessary to push yourself. Heal. Just heal, and you will get better. I promise you. At 6 weeks, I was already working out. At 4 weeks, I got clearance to work out, and I was like, I'm not gonna work out yet because I had the fluid buildup, which set me back mentally and scared me. And I was like, I don't want fluid buildup again. I had to get drained 3 times, and so I was like, I don't want this again. Just heal, and you don't want to prolong full recovery because you're scared because you started too soon in the beginning and it set you back. Does that make sense? Just heal. But you'll be capable of doing stuff yourself, but don't. That's it. That's literally it. Wait until you get clearance. And then the last question was breathing. I had a very large chest. I had a 32 double F boobs. They weighed 1,666 grams in total. There was 890 in my left and 7 something in my right. They were heavy. And so I didn't think about it because when you think about breathing, it's just something that natural that comes to you. And I had breathing problems to begin with. Since I was younger, I have asthma and I had a deviated septum, and I just recently got it fixed. And so I think you don't realize you're not breathing correctly because it's how you know how to breathe. So it's kind of weird. So when I got this question, I was like, yeah, actually I am breathing better. So I would do everything with a bra on. I would sleep with a bra on. I would work out with a regular bra strap on. I wouldn't use sports bras because they would give me back pain for days because I couldn't wear a racer back. Halter shirts or halter bathing suits or anything like that would hurt. So I would live with a bra on. And because I'm smaller this way, and I'm pretty small this way as well, I would wear a 32 double F. I probably could have sized down on the cup. Maybe like a 34F probably would have fit me, but then the straps would have fell and it wouldn't have supported me the way I wanted to be supported. So sometimes at night I would go to sleep and I would wake up in the middle of the night feeling like my chest was caving in and feeling like I had to throw up and just feeling like I couldn't get air, and the only thing that would relieve it was putting up my bra strap. And I wouldn't even take off my bra. I would just open up the bra strap and go back to bed because I still needed the girls to be sitting in some cups. So things like that don't happen anymore. When I had the compression on, it was uncomfortable. Sometimes I would feel that way, but that was a compression. I mean, it's trying to make like your inside stick to each other so that there's no fluid buildup, a little bit different. But after getting the compression removed, I've never had that feeling. I never woke up in the middle of the night like that, thankfully. Being able to like do a jumping jack or tie my shoe or hug somebody, swim, so many things were impaired because of my boobs. Doing push-ups, we got into our full working out. Push-ups are like a breeze for me. I mean, it's 4 less pounds on my chest that I used to have. So things like that are very noticeable. So yes, my breathing is better. I don't feel like I have this heavy weight sitting on my chest all the time. I mean, put a 4-pound weight on your chest all the time and strap it in all the time and see if it impairs your breathing. I think it probably would. I think this would probably be different for other people if your boobs aren't as big as mine were, or if they weren't as big as mine were. And like I said, I was active. We would go hiking, we would go bike riding, we would do these things. I was just carrying around 4 extra pounds on my chest all the time. And so even just aside from breathing, yes, breathing is easier, especially at night. But aside from that, just being able to do things for longer periods of time, having more like stamina. I haven't tried to run again because I think I am so traumatized from running, because running was just brutal with my boobs. Like I couldn't even properly run. I haven't even tried to do that again. Like I remember my husband was like, let's run around the neighborhood. I was like, let's walk. We're gonna walk. And so we would only walk around the neighborhood. I haven't tried to run yet. So we'll see. I haven't gotten back into that. But yeah, all workouts are easier not having these boobs, and life in general is easier not having boobs in every aspect of the way. So those are the questions. Thank you all so much for asking. I love you all so much, and I hope that my videos have been helpful for this journey. If you have any questions at any time, if you're going through this, if you're a caregiver, my husband will answer the questions. He was the one taking care of me the entire time. If you have any questions at all, do not hesitate to ask. I am here to help. I love you all, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Awkward.